and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. As most of you are aware, the Superbowl played last night to, I think, record-shattering numbers. But more importantly, everybody mostly tunes into that. Well, the majority of people out there tune in to watch the ads. Studios put millions upon millions of dollars behind these ads to showcase what they can do, what their products are. It's the most watched televised event of the year. So they just throw as much as they can into it. But more importantly, the movie studios tend to put some rather intriguing trailers out there. This year, I gotta tell you, though, it was a little underwhelming. There weren't too many surprises in terms of trailers. I think a lot of people were hoping that there were a lot of assumptions that there was going to be a Batman v Superman teaser. I knew that was not going to happen. The movie is more than a year away, and there is no reason as to why Warner Brothers would shell out $4.5 million for an ad that people are going to forget about in 3 months. There's no reason for it. On top of that, Warner Brothers generally shies away from the Super Bowl. So, you know, it makes sense as to why it didn't show up. There are a lot of reasons. I couldn't believe the amount of people out there that were assuming that there was going to be one, but still, there were a lot of people out there. But there were a few trailers that premiered that I actually thought worked really well. One of which was, you know, it's just kind of reinforcing the fact that I have an optimistic curiosity about it, but for the most part, the other trailers that debuted, at least the ones that I'm going to be covering on here, really did impress me. And these were the ones that I was eagerly awaiting because we hadn't seen a lot from them yet, or if we had, it had been a while since we had seen something. So let's get started with the first trailer. And as you can see from the image behind me, we're talking about Jurassic World. So I got to tell you, this to me was the most impressive trailer of the night. It was almost one of the most impressive commercials of the night. Every aspect of this worked for me. The pacing of it, the tone, the new footage that we got, which really cemented certain ideas. It wasn't just random footage being shown. It was really, it was cementing things that we had been assuming about the film, such as, you know, we saw that shot at the end of the last trailer of Chris Pratt riding along, and he had his pack of raptors with him. Now, there were assumptions that they just were not going to be attacking him. They had been accustomed to not attacking humans or whatever the case was. There were other rumors suggesting that these are in fact trained dinosaurs, that he has in fact trained and has them controlled in a sense. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you can't do that. Well, I liken it to how they have in zoos or even in shows, how performers are able to train tigers. Those are essentially predatory, like they're predatory animals. They are lethal animals. And the fact that you are able to not necessarily control them, and not even domesticate them, but get them to understand certain things, like understand commands, understand when you should do something, when you shouldn't, you know, stuff like that to the best of their ability. And it looks as though that's what Chris Pratt's character has been doing. He has been training them to respond to commands, which I think is really cool. It's a logical next step for if this park was to be open. You need to have that semblance of control, even if it's kind of a facade for the most part of it. You have to have that semblance there, and so I really like that's the direction that they're going with this. But this trailer was it was masterfully edited. I did not find a weak spot in the trailer. A lot of the footage that was shown was new footage. It was even some different angles of already revealed footage. So, I mean, everything about it felt new. It felt encouraging. Special effects, especially for those people out there who have been worried about the special effects of this movie. There is, and I'll put this up on the Facebook page as well, but there is a comparison shot for the Mosasaurus coming out of the water from the first trailer to this trailer, and the amount of CGI work that's been done. That was why I wasn't worried, because I had a question a while ago as to why I did not mention the special effects and the lack of quality in the special effects in the first Jurassic World trailer. And it's because, first off, I didn't really notice it all that much. To me, I was more enamored with what I was actually watching and the new aspects of the Jurassic Park lore that they were going into. So I wasn't really focusing too much on the CGI, but then after somebody mentioned it to me, I started to notice it, but I was never really worried because they have Industrial Light and Magic working on this movie. And just from that comparison shot alone, you can tell that, well, yeah, they were using unfinished CGI because they needed to get a trailer out there. They needed to let the world that know that this movie was coming. So there were a lot of aspects to that I understood, but this trailer just further cemented the fact that I think this is going to be one of the most surprising movies of the summer. One of the biggest things to me that was one of the more impressive aspects of this trailer, it cemented the fact this is going to be a horror film. The last teaser trailer really, I mean, there were elements of it that kind of talked about that, but this one here really cemented the fact that this is going to be a horror film, very much like the first Jurassic Park. The second and third one kind of steered away from that genre, but this trailer is bringing it back with a vengeance. And I got to tell you, I'm really excited for this. Jurassic Park is one of the, if not the film, there were two films when I was a kid that got me to want to be involved in film. The first one was The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. The second one was Jurassic Park. And this has been just, it's my Star Wars. Like, a lot of people out there say, like, Star Wars is the one that changed their viewpoint on film and you know, about how things could be done. To me, that's what Jurassic Park did. Because I was about the same age that a lot of those people were when Jurassic Park came out. I was only about 6 or 7. So this, to me, is going to start off, at least that's my hope, and I think that's the hope of the producers as well. This is going to start off a new series of movies. Now, I don't know where they could go past this movie. I really don't, unless they leave the door open as to what could happen. Maybe a rival company, like what what they were talking about in the first Jurassic Park, how there was a rival company that was trying to get their kind of dinosaur expedition off the ground. Now, if that's the case, I'm kind of on board for that. We need to see more story details and stuff like that, but I would really like to see a continuation of this world. But if we only get this one, then I'm going to be fine with that, as long as they do it right. Looks like Colin Trevorrow is really bringing the goods when it comes to this film. Looks like we're going to get a lot of the things that we wanted from this movie. And there's even aspects of this that are coming from very, very old versions of this script. I remember when Jurassic Park 4, when it was originally Jurassic Park 4, way back in like 2004 or 2005, there were story details that came out about a proposed movie if they were to indeed move ahead with it. And one of the sequences that was going to be in the movie was going to be a pack of pterodactyls that were going to be attacking people on motorcycles. Now, they've obviously changed that a bit, but they've kept that core aspect the same in this trailer, because you see that whole pack of pterodactyls come in and start picking people off the ground as they're running through what I assume is the main walk of Jurassic World. There's just so much in this trailer that I love. Again, this is one of the best edited trailers I've seen in a while. It captured everything I think it needed to. We got our first look at the Indominus Rex, while not giving away what the whole thing looks like, not really being given a money shot of that dinosaur, which I'm happy for. This is what I wanted the Godzilla trailer to be. I wanted it to give us a lot of looks like this, but not really give us a full reveal. And the Godzilla trailer never did that. We got little hints of him. You know, like, oh, he's right there in the distance and then the doors are shutting. No, we got a close-up of the eye, we get the claws, we get pretty much the entire body except for the head in a lot of shots, which I thought worked really well. It really gets the suspense up. A lot of people are wondering, what's this dinosaur going to look like? How ferocious is it really going to be? The fact that it's killing for sport. There are elements of the movie that I know about that I don't know if okay, fine. I'm going to talk about it on here. This is a spoiler alert. If for those of you who do not know, this has been online before. So spoiler alert, okay? At the end of the trailer, when Chris Pratt says, we're going after it with everything we've got, and then you see him riding with the velociraptors, there's another dinosaur, at least one more dinosaur that's going to be included in that sequence. And it's going to be the T-Rex from the original Jurassic Park. They're going to be using that T-Rex, which is in its own abandoned area of the island. They're going to be using that T-Rex to fight the Indominus Rex with the raptors. That is going to be one of the coolest sequences that I think we have ever seen on film. Now, I hope that we do not get to see anything from that sequence until the movie is released. I have a feeling that in the next trailer, we're going to see that's going to be the money shot. It's just like in Jurassic Park 3, where you see the Spinosaurus come out, and then the T-Rex come out, and then they start fighting, and that was in the trailer. And I hope we don't get that in the trailer. I hope we get to see that in the movie, because we know it's coming. But, I'm so over the moon for this movie. I cannot wait. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Were you over the moon with this trailer like I was? Or were you just kind of underwhelmed, not really caring for it? I want to hear what your comments are, and put them in the comment section below. But when we do get more information about this movie, I will definitely update you guys on here. Jurassic World will open up to the world on June 12th. Next up, we have Furious 7. And as Tyrese states in the trailer perfectly, this takes crazy to a whole nother level. Okay, when I saw the trailer for Fast 5, and I saw that sequence of them going off the cliff and basically like surfing the car down and jumping off of it, landing in the water, I thought, oh, they cannot get any bigger than this. Like, this is just way too over the top. And then we get Fast and Furious 6, and they have Vin Diesel driving his car into an on-ramp, flying off of it, catching his girlfriend in midair and landing on a car, basically flying, while also, in another segment, crashing a plane and like pulling a plane down and then driving through the front end of it while it's blowing up. Now, I didn't think they could get any crazier than this. Then we saw the first trailer for Furious 7. Then we saw them driving cars out of the back of a giant plane and parachuting them down while also trying to free a prisoner from a transfer bus. And then that bus falling off a cliff with somebody else, with Brian, Paul Walker's character, running up the side of it just as it's about to fall off, jumping and grabbing onto the car. I didn't think they could get any crazier than that. Well, now we have Vin Diesel flying a damn supercar, all right? This trailer goes insane in every great way possible. This takes every aspect of a Fast and Furious movie that we've come to love, the over-the-top, crazy insanity, and then goes, well, it's at 11, let's go to 13. You know, I mean, it just keeps turning up that dial, and I don't know how they keep doing it. I really don't. But this is, Universal knows exactly what type of franchise they have. And they're saying, we're putting everything we can behind this. You guys go and you do whatever you need to do. Any ideas you have, go ahead. Just do them. Like, this is pure, unadulterated, just awesomeness. This trailer was absolutely incredible. Now, this movie could very well suck. Let's just put that on the line. This movie could be absolutely god-awful. The one thing I'm noticing, and this kind of ties back into Jurassic World, the CGI work, it needs a little bit more work. Especially with that explosion at the beginning with Dom's house. That looked like it was a little too big of an explosion. But again, this should just be called Ridiculous 7. It should not be called Furious 7. It's just ridiculous. This movie is just way over the top, but in the best way possible. I am so excited for this movie. I mean, you get, just look at this. Look at this right here. Jason Statham and Vin Diesel's characters drive head to head so hard that they shatter the glass on the building right behind them. Like, look at that. Look at that. That is absolutely just, no, that's way over the top, but it's awesome. And that's what this movie needs to be. It needs to be awesome. It also needs to really commemorate the work of Paul Walker. I mean, they're trying to make this the absolute best Fast and Furious movie that they can to honor Paul Walker. And I really hope that they do that. But they at least are striving to make the most entertaining movie that they can. For the fact remains that Vin Diesel flies a car. I mean, he flies a car. I don't understand how, physics has been thrown out the door since, I think, number 4. But how Jason Statham launching a grenade and it blowing up just behind the car, not actually causing any damage to the car, and also not causing it to start flipping end over end is beyond me. What it looks like they were using that as an excuse for is to give it a boost to get across. But still, I mean, you see the car wiping out those terracotta warriors, and then Vin Diesel slides right to the edge of the window just before the car falls off. I mean, this movie is going to be one long adrenaline rush, and I am all for it. I cannot wait for this. Again, I really hope that it does at least something to honor Paul Walker. I mean, we're going to have an in memoriam or an in memory of Paul Walker type thing, but I really hope that they're able to understand and utilize his character to the best of its ability, even though they're using his brothers for the majority of filming, because I think he was less than half done filming. So, I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see, but my God, am I on board for this. I have not had, when I first saw the first Furious 7 trailer, I have not had an adrenaline rush like that from a trailer, I think, in my life. And then watching this one, I didn't quite get that same feel because the ridiculousness of the planes, or the cars coming out of the planes was almost too much for me. Seeing something like this, I am really on board. We're going to be getting a new trailer for this movie in the next couple of days, probably in the next week or two, a full theatrical trailer. So be on the lookout for that, but my God, am I on board for this. I cannot wait. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, whether or not you liked it as much as I did, whether or not you think that this series is just kind of done and tired. I can see how people can look at it that way, but to me personally, this is just exactly what I've been asking for. So let's hope that it really is able to strive to become one of the best Furious movies that they've come out with. So far, it's going to be coming out on April 3rd. So if we do get more information about this, I will definitely update you guys on here. Now we have another brief look at Tomorrowland, the upcoming Brad Bird directed, Damon Lindelof written sci-fi, action, comedy, family extravaganza. I mean, we know next to nothing about this movie, and that is one of the most interesting aspects of this film. They have been able to keep this movie under wraps, and that, in this day and age, that's almost unheard of. I mean, this is still just another teaser. They are teasing the crap out of us with this movie, and I am all for it. I have bought my ticket. I bought it when I first saw that first teaser a couple of months ago. This movie is creativity incarnate. It really is. I mean, everything about this movie looks brand new. It looks like uncharted territory. You have George Clooney playing like a boy genius who has grown up to kind of. He's built this incredible world, but yet nobody knows about it. And on top of that, he has all these cool little knickknacks in his house. He looks like he lives in a rundown place. There was a sequence that was shown at, I want to say CinemaCon, but I may be incorrect about that. But they showed like all these droids, basically, like that look like the Tomorrowland droids. Excuse me. That look like the Tomorrowland droids that are attacking his place. And, you know, he's got all these little traps set up. And, I mean, they're all futuristic little traps. And this movie, to me, is going to be, I think, one of the biggest surprises of the summer. Because, I mean, first off, you have Hugh Laurie playing a major character in this movie. It's still unconfirmed if he's playing a villain or not. But this is one of the first movies that Hugh Laurie's been attached to that he's actually fulfilled. For those of you who don't know, he was originally cast as Perry White in Superman Returns. But because of his shooting schedule with House, he wasn't able to actually fulfill that, and they got Frank Langella to go in and play that role. He was then cast in the Michael Keaton role of the RoboCop remake, but through unforeseen circumstances, he had to drop out of that movie as well. So seeing him come on board with this and actually seeing him in the trailer, I am over the top about that. That to me, he's one of my favorite actors. House is one of my favorite television shows that's been on the air in the last decade. You know, I mean, we don't know exactly who he's playing. He could just be a citizen of Tomorrowland. We do know that he is, in fact, in the Tomorrowland zone, whatever it is. We still don't even know what it is. The way that the trailer sets it up, you touch the pin and you are brought there. Whether or not it's something just in your imagination is beyond me. The way that they describe it is it's a place outside of space and time. And then at the end of the trailer, you get to see the Tomorrowland rocket, or sorry, the Yesterland rocket that takes off. And so that is supposedly taking them to Tomorrowland. Whether or not that's actually somewhere in space or if they actually go through a portal, like there's so much creativity and so many possibilities about this, and it's sci-fi. And I love sci-fi, especially because we're now at a point where a lot of sci-fi is feasible. It really is. I mean, you go back 20, 30 years and none of it really seemed like maybe someday way down the line we could have something like that. But nowadays it's like I mean, outside of actually going to a mythical land, most of the stuff in this is really just outside of our reach, like just right there. And I love that they're toying with that. On top of that, you got somebody at the caliber of Brad Bird, who is the director of, you know, The Iron Giant, The Incredibles. You got Ratatouille, then his first live-action film of Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. I mean, this dude is almost a legend when it comes to directing. He has not yet done a poor film. I mean, he elevated Mission Impossible for the fourth film in the franchise to become the most recognized, the most entertaining, the quote-unquote best. So I am definitely on board with this. I cannot wait to see any more footage from this. I'm actually at a point now where I don't want to see any more. I want to go in and just be sitting there in awe and amazement and shock of just the pure creativity. And that's something that I think has been lacking from a lot of films. We see a lot of stuff and oh, that looks cool, that looks cool, that looks cool, but it's a retread of something that we've already seen. And sometimes it can work. Sometimes it can look, you know, pretty cool. It can look pretty interesting. But there's always that sense in the back of our head. We've seen that before. It's familiar. looking at this and the ideas that this movie is bringing out, I think this is all stuff that we've wanted to see in a movie for decades, and we just have not had the ability to. So I am definitely on board with this. I cannot wait to see at least any more footage from this, but I'm torn. It's like me in Interstellar. I did not want to watch any more footage from that movie. Yet there was like a voice calling me to say, watch it, just watch it. It'll be fine, just watch it. And I remember watching the one trailer and I went, damn, because it brought out some really cool things about the movie that I wish that I had experienced when I first saw it. So I'm torn between this. I don't know if I want to see any more trailers, but if they do come out, I definitely will have to watch them, just because my excitement for this movie is over the moon. These three trailers, the Jurassic World, Furious 7, and Tomorrowland, were just absolutely amazing. These were the three that I was really looking forward to, mainly because these were the three that were only going to be debuting during the game. None of them came out beforehand. The one that I'm going to be talking about next came out beforehand, but there's a couple of things about it that I'm intrigued by. Cautiously optimistic, as I stated earlier. So I'm really on board with this. I can't wait to see the dynamics between George Clooney's character and Hugh Laurie's character, to see what lies there, whether or not they were friends when they were kids, and then they just kind of separated and went their own separate ways. Part of me is actually starting to think now that Tomorrowland is going to be similar to a Tron-like environment, where it is somewhere outside the realm of possibility, at least to the standard, general public, but that there is going to be some sort of, just like with Clue and with Flynn in Tron. Well, sorry, I'm talking about Tron Legacy. Not saying that this is going to be the same quality of that movie. I think this is going to be a lot better, but still, just give me a sec here. And I think that Hugh Laurie's character and George Clooney's character were friends when they first kind of started and created this land. And Hugh Laurie was the one that kind of shoved George Clooney's character out of the way and really took everything for himself. That's my theory on this. But I can't wait to see the movie. I would love to hear your theories about this movie, actually. Put some comments in the comment section what you think might happen with this movie. What do you think it's fully about? Just any sort of theories or ideas you might have about this movie. I'd love to hear them, because this is one of my most anticipated movies. It was originally supposed to come out in December, but they delayed it until May because I guess they needed more time for the CGI, or they felt that it was going to work better more as a summer flick than it would be as a December flick. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. And the movie's going to be opening up on May 22nd, so we don't have that much longer to wait. But if we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. And the last trailer I'm going to be talking about today is for Terminator Genisys. Now, this trailer came out before the game, which I will never understand why studios do that. They're paying almost $5 million to have these spots air. That's just for 30 seconds. So that means that Jurassic World and Furious 7, Universal right there in those two films spent $18 million advertising these movies. Right there, that's why we did not get those out in front. But Terminator out before the game actually started. Terminator Genisys debuted its trailer, I believe, on Friday. And it was just a 30-second spot. Didn't really include a lot of new footage, but it did include a couple of new shots of Arnold. But mainly that was the focus, was Arnold in the trailer. Because if you remember the first trailer, Arnold wasn't really even the focus in that. It was Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese. So the thing that I actually liked about this trailer, even though there's not a lot of new shots in it, there were a lot of callbacks to the first two Terminator films. Specifically, the Terminator riding a motorcycle off the overpass. You had the T-1000 emerging from the fire, just like he did in Terminator 2. So those are some of the sequences that I think are kind of nice. Alan Taylor, he directed Thor: The Dark World. He's also directed, episodes of Game of Thrones. The guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to craft a sequence. He knows how to craft character. So I'm not that worried about it. The one thing that I'm worried about is, based on some of the things that I've heard, is that it's going to tick off a lot of people because it's going to start to stray away from the original Terminator franchise, because this is going to be a wholly new timeline. Like they're wiping everything clear. They're doing basically a Star Trek reboot of this thing. They're going back in time, but something has happened to cause the timeline to change. And so I'm interested in that, because to me that means that they can still honor the original movies, but yet move forward in a completely different direction, one that they think will succeed in creating more films. Because let's not forget, they have release dates already set for Terminator Genisys 2 and 3. Now, whether or not they're going to call them Genisys is another question. I don't think that they will, but we already have release dates for those two movies, and I believe they're back-to-back. They're 2017 and 2018, if I'm not mistaken. I may be incorrect on that, but I believe it's 2017 and 2018. One of the coolest parts to me of this trailer, and it was in the first trailer, I don't even know if I mentioned this, I probably did, but the T-1000 coming in and creating that blade with his arm, slicing it off, grabbing it and throwing it like a javelin, that to me was badass. That is what these things are designed for. Whatever measure they need to do to kill their target, they will use. And that to me is one of the coolest aspects of this franchise. The fact that these things are robotic killing machines, but they are some of the most fearsome things on the planet. There's a lot of rich material to strive from with that, and having this movie really focus on a Terminator that we still don't know the exact reasons as to why he was sent back when she was just a child, because the Terminator was originally sent back when she was like 8 or 9. Presumably he was sent back because he was reprogrammed and he was sent back to protect her. And then you see that it's actually an aged Arnold when the original Terminator is supposed to go back and kill Sarah Connor. The aged Arnold is there and he's fighting his way through it. But there are other elements that show that this movie could be taking place in modern day. So this movie looks like it could be a big, excuse me, it could be a big hot mess. This movie could be all over the place and not make a lick of sense. But I am really intrigued by this because I like time travel movies when they're done well. When they leave facts just out the window because they don't care about them, I don't think that they're necessary. That's when I get a little ticked off because, for instance, just even though it's not possible, you know that can't happen. You know that can't happen. Even though it's not possible, it's just something that you are just inherently aware of. And so this movie hopefully will stick to its roots, it will stick to its guns, and it will just make a surefire, exciting action sci-fi romp. And that's all I want from it. I want this new Terminator movie to be smart. I want it to be action-packed. I want the CGI to be really cool, the action sequences to be really inventive, and it wouldn't hurt to have some pretty decent acting, which it looks like we're going to get at least from Emilia Clarke, because she was pitch-perfect casting for the role of Sarah Connor. So I am cautiously optimistic about this movie, like I've stated throughout this whole episode, but I'm still holding out hope. I still think that it could be something that is worthwhile. I think it could be something that's entertaining, but only time will tell. We still got a couple of months to go before the movie comes out. It will be coming out in July 1st. Hopefully we're going to be getting a new full-length trailer, probably sometime in March. I can see us getting a trailer for this movie, but until then, we have the footage that we already have to kind of sit through and divulge and just see exactly what's going on with it. And if we like it, well, that's all that really matters. Because, I mean, looking at this trailer, I like the footage I'm seeing. I like where this story could go. But we don't know if that's exactly where it is going to go. That's the biggest question. But this shot right here is one of the coolest ones from the trailer, because that's harkening back right to T2. And that's what this movie really needs. It needs to bring back that spirit. And if it can do that, then I think we got a good thing on our hands. But the movie's coming out July 1st. If we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Go ahead and click that subscribe button in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And you can also give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Movie News with Niklsun. If you guys ever have a topic or a question you'd like to have discussed on the show, put a comment in the comment section, or you can email at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com, and we'll try to get to as many as we can on every Friday episode. But until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.